living sober, busy living sober, busy living sober. Welcome if you're back and visiting. Hi, if you're a regular. Happy New Year. Well, to everybody, Happy New Year. Happy 2024. If this is your first time here, I just want to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me. I'm Elizabeth Chance. I'm in long-term recovery. I haven't had a drink in almost 17 and a half years. And my podcast is called Busy Living Sober because my nickname is Busy and I'm living sober. And how am I doing it? And I'm doing it one day at a time. I can tell you that. And I can tell you that today is the 2nd of January. This is coming out actually on the 3rd of January. And I have so many things to talk about. So many things to talk about today. Wow, what a weekend. It was filled with emotion, filled with sadness. It was filled with reflection. It was filled with presence, being in the present moment. I've had a big transformation happen to me yesterday, which was the first day of January 2024. And I looked at a picture of my son and his now wife, and they were getting engaged. It was the day they got engaged. And I had this total transformation of thinking, he's not just my son, he's a man living in this world and he is with the woman that he loves. And my first reactions when I saw it a year ago are so different than today. Um, Obviously, I was really sad this weekend that I wasn't included in the festivities of my oldest son's marriage. It was really, really hard. Estrangement is really hard. Now, I am not a first time go around of estrangement. I was raised with a lot of estrangement in my family. So I've had it forever. I don't even remember not having a time when people in my family didn't speak to each other. That was always a big thing. From a little child, my grandmother didn't speak to her siblings. My mother didn't speak to her siblings. I don't speak to my siblings. Now my son doesn't speak to me. And there's these walls that keep getting pushed in front of me, and they feel like they're made of steel. And I'm just trying to come to peace with it and realize that I didn't cause it. I can't change it and I can't go back. We all have these feelings of resentment and hurt from previous life experiences. And I, for one, tried everything in my power to make things different, but I'm not so powerful. I'm not so powerful. I have no regrets. I have no need to say I'm sorry. I have no need to go back and beat myself up, which so many of us do in life. We go back, we beat ourselves up, and we use different sorts of outside things to hurt ourselves. You know, drinking was never an option this weekend. I didn't ever think I've got to go get a drink. I've got to go, I've got to go take myself and numb myself so I don't feel anything. Um, it seems like it would have been in much easier way, but that's how I worked with life till I was 37, was just blanking things out, just going to this place that I just numbed it so I didn't have to feel it. Feelings were so horrible. And I think the main feeling that I've had forever has been a fear of not getting what I want, fear of not keeping what I have, fear of things not staying the same, fear of things changing. If I do this and this, they won't change. If I do this and this, it'll look the way that I think it should look. And that is not the way the world works. And it's taken a lot of time. And I think time is like a huge, huge gift in that time gives you a chance to give you perspective. You can look back over time and what you did and take responsibility for it in your own skin and realize that you were doing the best you could do at that moment, right? We can't go backwards. None of us can go backwards and say, oh, okay, I'm going to go get in my time machine and I'm going to redo that entire experience that just happened. I'm going to redo that entire conversation. I'm going to redo that entire outcome. I'm going to change that outcome. It's not going to be what it is now. I'm going to go back and I'm going to change it because I now know what I did that I would like to change. That's what life's all about, right? It's recognizing where you can change, how you can grow, how you can change as a human being. And we learn that from perspective. When we get time away from something, we can take a moment or hours or days or weeks or months, lose sleep, um, toss and turn over things that have happened, and resentments come up. And I have to tell you, today, I have no resentments towards my son or his wife. That is such a huge gift. Now, the way they feel is none of my business. I mean, I can't change the way they feel. I have to keep going for me living as a human being myself, because we come into this world alone, we die alone. And where I am today in my process is just like sitting in it, marinating in the feelings of going, oh my gosh, I wish things were different, but they're not. Things aren't different. I'm not going to be able to go back and go, oh, I made it to his wedding. I was there to be able to see it. I mean, I was thinking during this weekend, I was like, wow. I remember the day I found out that I was pregnant with him. And I was just so elated. And when we have kids, we have all these ideas and all these dreams and all these wishes that we pray would come true for our children. We want it to be so much better than our lives. We want to give them everything and then some. We want to just be able to not let them have to go through pain like we've gone through. We don't want to have them walk through situations that can really, that we know are going to be painful, and we can't stop them as much as we might want to. And it's really getting to this place of going, okay, this is the way it is. I can't change it. All I can do is wish them the best. All I can do is send them prayers. All I can do is send them hope and love and light. I can't have a resentment that takes me away from where I am today and not present for the other people that are in my life. So desperately, I wanted to be able to be like, don't go, don't do this, don't do that, don't participate, don't show up, don't do this. So many of those feelings were happening. But in reality, at the end of the day, it wasn't my business. It wasn't for me to be there. It wasn't for me to be a part of. It wasn't, they didn't want me. And does that hurt? Oh my God, so much. But getting to this place of like, it happened the way it was supposed to happen. I believe that things happen in this life the way that they're supposed to happen. I've I watch people all the time that come out. I listen to people speak and I watch people and I hear things, and I'm a voyeur in other people's lives, especially via YouTube. And anytime anybody gets somewhere, it's not like they made it happen. It's like it was God, it was the universe that literally came in and made it happen. It's us letting go and realizing we can't change things. We can do things, we can set things up, we can prepare, but what happens in the end, the outcome, is not up to us. It's up to that God or that universe. It's not up to ourselves. And when we come to, when our ego is able to let it go, we can be free. You know, resentments, they say, are the number one thing that makes people go and pick up that drink or that drug. It's a resentment we carry around in our bodies. It's a resentment that we have that we can't feel peace over. We play tapes over and over and over in our heads, like, how could it have been different? What could I have done differently? How could I have reacted? How could I have been? But none of us know until we're in a certain situation. There is no book that we can go and buy and say, if you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, your life's going to be beyond your wildest dreams. There's no book for that. It's being authentic in the moments. When I was walking through this whole situation with my child, and he's an adult, he's not a child anymore, he's an adult. It was so, so painful. I literally did not sleep for a long time. And every night I would go to bed and have feelings of remorse, feelings of sadness, just crying. I'd be up writing in my journal for all hours of the night, going, why is he gone? Oh my gosh. I had this hole, like this hole in our soul we talk about. And I had this hole, and it was so hard to accept. Like, what did I do? How can I change it? And I sent emails and I sent text messages, and it was back and forth and back and forth. And they were looking for something from me, and I was looking for something from them. And I don't think any of us felt satisfied over the communication that happened. I don't know if you can really communicate with words on a piece of paper or on a text message. I think that having communication has to be in front of the person, and that can be on Zoom, but you at least have to see the person's emotions. You have to at least feel their energy. And I don't think on paper or on a text message we can be our authentic selves. It's just words. It's just letters that make a word, but there's no real feeling because you're not in front of the person. It's kind of a cop out in a way that we just don't want to talk to people. We just churn them off. And I'm just as bad as anybody else. It's not just other people that do it. I do it too. It was a learned behavior that has been inside of me for my whole life. It's like in my genes. It feels kind of strange to say that, but the more I read and the more I research and delve into this whole estrangement, it's coming to this place of peace within ourselves and realizing we can't go backwards. We cannot go back and change anything that's been said or done. All we can do is learn from it and move forward and send love and light. And some people will never be in your life again. Some people, it was like I have no idea what the end's going to be with my kids and with my son and his wife. I have no idea. I don't know that this is going to last forever. I don't know if it's going to last for 10 more minutes. I have no clue. All I know is that I've come to peace about it. And it was so interesting yesterday, just seeing that picture of them getting engaged. And I just looked at him like a man that was in love with this woman, and this woman that was in love with this man. And it was not the feelings of like, that's my son. He's doing something I don't want him to do. Oh my God, I don't want him to be with this person. I want it to be something else. And I don't even know her at all, really, to be honest. I've met her twice for 2 weekends, very briefly. I've never spent much time. She's never been in my home, so I have no idea. And they used whatever was within them to say that I was a threat, and we can't have her near us because she's going to blow up what we have. And I understand that as a basic human response to something that is threatening, right? We have this threatening fear that this person's going to ruin what's going on. So I am going to, instead of having you be a threat, I'm going to just put you away, throw you away. You're not part of my life anymore. Bye-bye, throw away. You can uproot what I believe to be what my life is going to look like. I can be in charge of what my life's going to look like, especially if you're not in it. And now looking back at it, with a new set of eyes, which again, it takes time. So much of what I've learned and what I've gone through in life has been through time that I get acceptance. acceptance doesn't happen for me right away. I can go and read an acceptance prayer and say, yes, everything in this world is exactly the way it's supposed to be in this day. I get that. I get that. I can accept that on a level that's not in my heart, but that's in my head, but not in my heart. And I actually went to see a Reiki healer like a month ago. And he said to me, you really need your heart and your head to match and get to on the same place. And I'm like, how do I do that? Oh my gosh, because our heads think one thing, our brains look at things like this is not good, this is good, this isn't good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good. When in our hearts, we all know deep down inside, we all just want to love. We all just want to embrace one another rather than hurt one another. But this fear comes up like, you're going to take away what I want. You're going to take it away. So I've got to remove you. I don't know that that's the healthiest way to handle situations and relationships, but it's become a real conundrum. It's become a real part of our society today. I know I'm not the only one. There's a book written about estrangement. If you Google it, estrangement, all these things come up and all these people's stories come up. And I don't think there's a definitive, like, you do this and it's not going to happen, or you do that and it's not going to happen. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen if you do this or that, or you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to apologize and you're not going to be able to be who you really authentically are. You're going to have to go say, oh, okay, I'm not going to be like this anymore. I'm going to be what you want me to be. But who does that? Who really is going to change for somebody else? Like, unless you really want to change. Like, you as a human being has to want to change. Somebody else wanting you to change is not going to make you change. I think all of us at a human basic level know that. We know that if we want a different outcome, we have to change. We have to do the work. We have to ponder. We have to sit and we have to cry and we have to have a feeling of like, why did this happen? What is my part? Their part is none of my concern. It's what they did, what they had to do, I guess, and I have to accept that. And how they did it, did I like it? No, but I had to accept it. I had to walk through these times right now of being like, you do you, boo boo. It's so crazy. Henry said those words to me, you do you, boo boo. I think about a couple years ago, and I remember when he said it, I was kind of offended. Like, that's not a nice thing to say, you do you, boo boo. But in reality, it's brilliant. I can't change somebody as much as I want to. Let's face it. I want to change my husband. I want to change my kids. I want to change friends. I want to change this. I want to change that. If it all just went the way that I thought it was going to go, it would be perfect. But that's my sense of control. That's my sense of it's my sense of being fearful. It's my sense of like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared that if you do it your way instead of the way that I think it should be done, it's not going to be okay. That's me playing God. That's my ego being so, so big. I love the acronym for ego is easing God out. When we are in this place of fear, when we are in this place of spiraling out of control, when our drinking, when our using, when our family does these things to us, it can feel totally debilitating. It can feel so sad, so raw that walking through the pain seems impossible. It seems like we can never do it. We need to inebriate ourselves. We need to numb ourselves so that we don't have to feel the sadness, the facts that things didn't turn out the way we wanted them to turn out, the facts that people are going to do what they are going to do. And they may choose to say, you know what, you're out. You're not in part of my life anymore. They may not ever take your calls. They may block you on everything. And that's their choice. It is painful as hell. It is so painful. But I acknowledge the pain And then I have to find tools that work for me. I paint a lot. I needlepoint. I help other women. I have my podcast. I try to be creative every day. And when I do that, then I don't have to be in the sense of like, oh my gosh, I'm having a pity party. Oh my gosh, my life sucks. Oh my gosh, I mean, making it doomsday. I've been able to look at it in a way that's like, yes, this has happened. Am I okay? Yes, I'm still breathing. Yes, I'm still walking on this planet. Yes, I still have my dogs. Yes, I still have my two other kids. Yes, I have all the things that I had besides this relationship, which I long for so desperately inside of me, but I can't change it. I can't change how the other person's going to react. I can't change how they're going to respond to me. I can't say, "Oh, you've got to accept my messages. You've got to find me on Facebook or whatever. You got to follow me on Instagram. You've got to be part of my." No, no, I can't do that. When a child's 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, maybe up to 10 years old, it's pretty much your job is to make sure they don't die. You feed them, you clothe them, you make sure they're making good choices. You've got control over them. You say, go to bed, they go to bed, do your homework. But once they become teenagers, it's like, no, I'm listening to you, but I don't know if I'm going to follow what you told me to do. It's like you say your kids don't drink and they go and they drink. You say your kids don't smoke weed, they go and they smoke weed. They don't go do your homework, they don't do their homework. And you're like, why aren't they listening to me? Why aren't they doing what I told them to do? Well, at this point now in their 20s, they are totally like, I am going to take what I wanted. I'm going to take what I need and I'm going to leave the rest. I'm not doing what you told me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And if you aren't going to like what I'm doing, and if you're going to be judgmental of my life, and you're going to say you don't like my soon to be bride, and you don't like where she comes from, and you don't like her family, and you don't like that, then you are going to be exorcised from my life. You're going to be taken away from my life. You're going to be removed from my life, and I'm going to go live my life without you. Wow. And my part of me, so much of me, says, "Oh my gosh, I did everything for you. I showed up for this. I did this. I put my life on hold. I did everything for you. Da, 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 da. I went to every parent teacher conference. Da, 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 da." It still doesn't change the outcome. The outcome is still the same. I am no longer in your life. Now, again, this has been a year plus in terms of how I've been able to deal with the feelings. I've been able to, I've been doing a lot of spiritual stuff. I'm always searching for spiritual things. So I go to God. I went to Kabbalah. I've done, Buddhist stuff, which is like yoga and meditation. And I do all those things. And oh my gosh, now they give a thumbs up when you do this on, if you're watching this on YouTube, that thumbs up is a new thing that Zoom's doing. But, you know, it's taken this time. And time is such a huge gift because it does give you the ability to take a step back and go, wow, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. A year plus later, it's not hurting as much as it was. The day he got married hurt, but luckily I have good friends that took me out and were like, let's go to a comedy show. We went to a comedy show and I laughed my butt off and I didn't think once about what was happening that wasn't in my exact peripheral, what I could see in that moment. In that moment, there was nothing that took me away. I was in those moments, I was laughing. I can't change somebody else. I want to, but I can't. And so time heals so much. You think back to these relationships that you've had in your life and people that have been in your life and why they were here and why they aren't here anymore and what you did and what they did. And I think as time goes on, you don't even remember what had happened. There's so many things that I don't even remember why I don't have a relationship with the person anymore, but I don't. I don't beat myself up over it. That person is not calling me all the time going, "Oh my God, let's get together. Do you want to talk? Do you want to figure out how this?" No, it just ends. It's when it's family. It's when it's so painful. Family is like the hardest thing because so many things, especially on television, on Hallmark Channel, on Lifetime. I don't even know if Lifetime's around anymore, but I remember Lifetime movies. And when you go to the card store or you look at certain things you see things on social media and they have these families that look so perfect in that 1 second. I mean, everybody's dressed to the nines. Everybody looks so happy. Look, they're all together all the time. They just love each other. Look at all that love. And if you're in a place like I've been, you look at those pictures like, what the F did I do wrong? Why is it like this for mine? I don't have that. Oh, not only do I not have that, I hate those people. They just are horrible. Look at them. They're so perfect. Oh my God. And I criticize. And the reality is, I'm jealous, right? We get jealous when we see things that we don't have and that we want. And we're like, why do they get that? And I don't get that. It is what it is. It is what my life is like. So I can sit here and wish it were different. I can sit here and pray it was different. But until it's supposed to be different, I can't really do anything but take care of me and what's in front of me. You know, um, when you don't get what you want, the things that come out are ego, greed, judgment, shame, lack of compassion, no empathy. But when you actually sit down with somebody in front of you and you actually have a conversation and you feel their energy, for one, when you see a person walk into a restaurant or into a meeting place that you haven't seen them in a long time, and all of a sudden, a lot of the problems start to just literally melt away already because you're like, look at that person. Oh my gosh, look at their eyes, look at their smile. I love that person. Oh my gosh, I just love them. And it already takes away a lot of the anger and the hurt and the envy and all the rest of it just melts away in the beginning just by seeing their face, being able to give them a hug. The endorphins that come off our bodies that we share are like takes away so much of the sadness just from the get go. And then if we give the person the opportunity to really speak and we listen, we kind of both have the same feelings when we come to this place, right? You have a feeling that this person did this person did this thing to you, and you did this to this person, and who's going to take responsibility? And are we going to mend this relationship, or are we just going to let it go for good? It's much easier with friendships to do that. Family, because genetically you were raised together. You were raised and you had the same experiences as a child. You had the same mom and dad. You had the same stories. I mean, obviously we all look at things with our own eyes. But if we have the time, family is a hard one. And what do we do moving forward to be okay? I think just really truly sending love and sending light to the loved ones in our life. And that doesn't mean we have to forget what happened. But we definitely have to forgive because if we walk around with resentment and hate, it just hurts us. I remember being in a meeting a long time ago and somebody said, "Do you know, like a resentment is like literally you're sitting there holding this really hot rock or a hot potato, like really, really hot out of the oven. Okay, just boiling, boiling hot. And you're holding this and it's like, oh, it hurts. It hurts. It feels so uncomfortable. You're holding this anger and you're holding this stuff and it feels so bad. And the other person's like skipping down the street having a great time. It doesn't match up. We're like sitting here holding these resentments for what? For what? We want somebody to change. We have to change. I have to change. I have to come and evolve. I have to suck up what I am about. I have to suck up who I am as a human being. Do I have to apologize for who I am as a being? I have judgment. I'm not perfect. I've never been a mom to somebody who's getting married before. Never in my life. It's all new. But I'm gonna tell you, I've learned so much. I've learned so much. It's so funny because when you have more than one child and you look at each one, and I was actually talking to my friend Caroline about this morning. It's like you have three children. You have your first child you bring home from the hospital and you're like taking care of everything and everything's perfect and you won't even leave them sleeping in their cribs. You like go and you check on them all the time and you're like, oh my gosh, they can't have this food and they can't have that food and I've got to do this right and I've got to do that right. Really can't screw up anything and I'm just like on edge on everything and I'm just so hard on this person because I want them to be perfect in what I was, and I want them to be better than I was, and I wanted them to do all these things, and I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna just keep doing it and doing it and doing it with my oldest child. Then your second one comes and you're a little less stressed about it. And then for your third one, I was like, okay, here, he's got a diaper on. At least he's happy. I don't really need to worry about anything. He's gonna be okay. If he has a diaper on, I give him some food and I change his diaper. He's good. He's good. He doesn't need a lot. But that is something that has, again, taken time. It's taken time to be able to say, okay, in reality, now my youngest child always gets to benefit the fact that I've like already gone through this. I'm changed. I've changed. We all change. We're not as harsh. We're not as scared. We're not as worried as we were with the first one. We know that we did it okay with the first one. So now by the third one, we're like, I can let go. Letting go. That's when all the keys happen, is when we let go and we go, it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. And I can't worry about it too much. And we let go. Everything works out. It's like the craziest thing. We sit here and we think we need to hold on so freaking tight. If I hold on tight, you do it exactly the way I want you to do it, and I fight you till you do what I want you to do. It's never happy. It's never happy because you've constantly got this friction of like going back and forth at each other, like fighting, like, and it's not happy. It's not happy. It's torturous. It's torturous. Again, I can't go back and change anything because if I hadn't experienced everything that I've experienced, I wouldn't be feeling the way I'm feeling right now, which is free and wanting the best for everybody and wanting my son to have many, many, many years of happiness with his bride. I want him to have many, many, many years of happiness. But how that happens is none of my business and it's not my thing. I got to let go. I got to let go of everything. What's going to happen with this? What's going to happen with that? I have no idea. It's all a process. It all happens when things are supposed to happen. All I have to do is let go. I have to not be scared anymore. And again, I'm 55. I've been sober for 17 plus years. I've had a lot of time to reflect and realize that every time I push my square peg into a round hole, okay, so I've got a square and I'm pushing it and it doesn't fit, let it go. Let it go. It's not my circus. They're not my monkeys. Everybody's an adult now. Life is such an interesting place and an interesting thing, right? Life is um life is lifey. 2023 was hard. So many hard days, so many sleepless nights. But it's 2024 now. I'm going to let go. It doesn't look the way that I might have wanted it to look, but it's none of my business how it does look. It's not my life. I was the best mom I could be. I did the best I could do as a mother, as a human being, that I knew was possible. I quit drinking. I went to meetings. I've done so many things, so much self help, so much therapy, so much this, so much that. And now today I can say that estrangement is so painful. Being shut off from somebody is so, I feel like I've seen Mel Robbins, I've seen Brene Brown, I've seen this other Christian woman on YouTube. I've seen all these people talk about like being like literally cutting somebody out of your life is probably the most painful thing you could do. And I think that it's not done easily. I think that when it happens, it's so painful for everyone. And I don't want to take that away from anybody. We're on this journey, and I think 2024 is going to be about love. I think it's going to be about speaking your truth, not apologizing for who you are, really seeking happiness, seeking to help others. It's been so funny. I found this woman on Instagram, and she has this song, and it's called I have to look it up. I'm gonna be looking this up if you're watching me. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to my Spotify. And it's called Energy Vampires, this song, and her name is Shannon Blake, and it's spelled Shanin Blake, Blake. And she's got this energy vampires, and she looks like a mermaid or a fairy or something totally from a different planet. But her voice is amazing. And she talks about how we let other people take away our energy. I'm not letting anybody take away my energy this year. I don't want any sleepless nights. I want to be able to let go, let God, and know that everything's happening for a reason. And I might not know that reason, and I might not ever know that reason, and that's okay. My little self has these thoughts of like good, bad. As I mentioned earlier, my brain has these thoughts of what are people going to think? Oh my God, what are people going to say? Oh my God, how is this going to affect everybody else? Are they going to totally judge me? Oh my gosh, my family doesn't look the way it's supposed to look. Oh my God. I don't know whose family does, by the way, besides on an Instagram picture that lasts about a quarter of a millisecond. I got to come to peace. I have to have love in my heart. I have to not have resentments. I can't worry about what other people are doing. I can't worry about how what other people might judge me. All I have to worry about is how I am and how I am each day in my process of being sober and being present for the people that want me in their lives. And knowing that sometimes it's just not about me. And people make choices to save themselves out of fear, out of worry. It's all about not being able to keep what you have, not being able to get what you want, not being able to have change. We don't want to have change. We want things to stay the same, and they don't, unfortunately. Kids grow up, people get old, people die, people are born. It all happens. And I don't think any of us can stop any of it. I think all we can do is come together and love one another and not take things so seriously and know in our hearts that if I just let go, everything's going to work out the exact way it's supposed to. That's my episode. There we go. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Subscribe to my channel, please. Share it with your friends. Know that you are not alone. You can reach out to me anytime. I'm putting together coaching packages again. If you're looking for some coaching, my packages should be ready actually by the end of this week. And just know this, you can do this. And sometimes it's just going to take time. And you have to be okay with that. Just saying it's going to take me time to get over this. It might take me a year, it might take me 5 years, it might take me 5 minutes, it might take me 5 weeks. Whatever it is, just give yourself that time. Journal. It's so helpful. Talk to your friends about it. I feel so blessed because look at me, I'm journaling all the time. Um, Talk to your friends about it. Just know that if you share it, it's so much better than carrying it by yourself. Sharing it is like makes it so much lighter. If you can meet the person in your life that you have a riff with, take the time to do it if they're willing, if you're willing. But make sure you're in a good place. Don't just do it because somebody else says to do it. You do it because you know personally you're in a good place and you can handle it. Until you can, don't do it. It's okay. And if they are like, they get upset, that's about them. You stay you. You do you, boo boo. All right, everybody, take care. And I will be back next Wednesday. Monday, I've got a great guest coming on. So exciting. All right, everybody, take care. And until next time, keep getting busy, living sober. Bye. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.